Hello, this is Caleb Smith, the editor of the Rocket Miner newspaper with your regular coronavirus COVID-19 update. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about history, so before I get started, I'd ask you to direct your undivided attention to the letters in front of you. Just a few more seconds. Okay, we'll get back to that in a moment. Today, on Saturday, March the 21st, Wyoming health officials reported that we are now up to our 23rd confirmed tested case of coronavirus in our state. This latest case was confirmed in Carbon County. I would note that at this point that Sweetwater County does not have any confirmed cases. Testing's ongoing. One thing to keep in mind is that because of the time it takes between when a person contracts the virus, when it grows within them to the point where they start to develop symptoms, then seek out testing, and then you wait for the testing results and you have to get that information back, it takes time. I would strongly expect that the number of cases are going to steadily increase, especially this coming week. Right now, the test numbers, the test results we have in hand aren't a reflection of the case right now. They show what the cases were a couple days ago. We're always playing catch up when you're talking about the spread of a disease or virus. So don't be surprised if the numbers continue to rise. That is expected. That's why we're taking extra provisions to practice social distancing, keeping at least 6 feet against people when you're out and about, if not just quarantining at home. Hopefully getting a little bit more cleaning done, getting to some of those old projects that you've always sworn you're going to get to, dealing with family, and we're going to get to know each other a lot more in the coming days. So I'm hoping that you have as much creativity and patience as you have. For those of you who are looking for more information, there are multiple sources at your fingertips. I'd like to highlight again the Memorial Hospital Sweetwater County's nurse triage line. For those people who are worried that have questions about their current symptoms, or as is becoming more common, people in the community are going, "Oh, I know somebody who was tested. That was the mother of the son who works with the guy who's there on." If you want to know about, or if you want to settle some of your questions when it comes about risk, the steps you should be doing, I found the people on the nurse triage line, because I've called it myself recently, to be very helpful, to be very knowledgeable and direct and calming with the information they had to have. That number is 307-522-8523. Once again, Sweetwater Memorial's nurse triage line is 307-522-8523, or you can also call your own medical health provider. The gist is that the advice is right now to reach out to the experts first before just showing up at the hospital. Do not just go to the emergency room just because you have a temperature of 100 or greater and you have a cough. Please get those symptoms taken care of, but call ahead. Figure out work with them to figure out what the actual risk is and what needs to be done. Remember, there are limitations in effect at the hospital. You can learn more at sweetwatermemorial.com. They're being regularly updated because they are changing and they are getting a little bit tighter as we go along. The goal is to limit your impact on the community for now. We're still going to look for other ways to be connected as we are out and about, though few of us are doing so right now. As part of that, flights, or the popularity of flights has declined, and due to demand being reduced, the number of flights offered at the Southwest Wyoming Regional Airport is going down as well. At RKS, if you're just looking for the airline shorthand, that's back when it was still known as the Rock Springs Sweetwater County Airport, and I always have to pause to make sure that I do say the Southwest Wyoming Regional Airport when I'm talking about the Southwest Wyoming Regional Airport instead of its old name. United Express flights, which have been operated by SkyWest Airlines, are going to reduce their flights effective April 1st. Instead of 2 flights a day, there's only going to be 1. If you're like me, you're going to be disappointed to learn that the originally planned 3rd flight that was coming in the summer, that has now been postponed until at least 2021. Airport staff are still going to monitor demand and make adjustments as necessary, working in conjunction with elected officials, the Wyoming Department of Transportation, SkyWest Airlines, all the people who come together to make those decisions. In addition, remember that access to the general aviation terminal and the commercial airline terminal are restricted right now. Those who are going to be granted access to the commercial airline terminal, that's going to just be down to ticketed airline passengers, rental car customers, the usual employees of the airport, and those who work there, like at the car rental places, and individuals who are assisting seniors, passengers with disabilities, or unaccompanied minors. If you want to say hi to somebody who's just gotten back to Sweetwater County, want to give them a big old welcome, do it in your car from the curb. You're not allowed inside the terminal. Same is true for general aviation. At this time, it's being restricted to the aeronautical tenants, transient aircraft operators and passengers, and of course the employees who are working there at that branch of the general aviation. They're taking steps to ensure our safety. I think they should be lauded for it. Just the fact that they're still out there letting people come through, that's a sign of their commitment. And the fact they're making these changes show how much that they want to do right by the people and their communities. For those looking for another way to connect, even while we're maintaining our distance, I would point you to the new YouTube channel that the Sweetwater County Historical Museum has launched. I'm not going to tell you the web address. It has more letters in an order that I do not have confidence that I could recite accurately. Do what I did, and that's when you get to YouTube, just search for Sweetwater County Historical Museum. The idea is that they want to provide informative, educational, and entertainment historical material over the internet, especially at a time when the museum itself is closed to the public. The staff's still working there, and they want you to know that if you have any research requests, just reach out to them through the internet or through the telephone, that they are happy to continue to do that as they've been all along. I've certainly benefited from their knowledge and background and research in the past. In addition to conducting research requests, they continue to prepare and maintain exhibits and are continuing to look for more outreach programs and strategies. So if you're a family at home and you need just a little bit more to keep the little ones, direct their attention, I'd strongly suggest that this channel and keep watching for it. Knowing the energy and the output they have over there, they're quickly going to fill up videos on their channel. Thinking about the history of our channel, or thinking about the history of our community, that's something rich that we can draw upon. That's something that we have that not everybody does. These letters that I pointed your attention to, they're part of the rocket miner history. Those are back from the day when we had much smaller presses that were operated by people who had to place each letter, each space, each piece of punctuation that was on the line. And they had to do it on deadline under conditions that we take for granted today. Even in these times of changes, between air conditioning and heating and computers that you can just dictate your thoughts into, and you can find out the news on the other side of the world just by hitting refresh on your computer or on your smartphone. They worked hard just to bring each story to you bit by bit. One of the things that I've always found interesting, and I use the super big, those are the ones that didn't get as much. These are the font size that wouldn't get as much use. You don't use the letters this big just to talk about a school board meeting, or so I have been informed for all the pages back when I still designed pages for the Rocket Miner before becoming the editor. We have a couple of us who actually have our names in the office made with these plates. One of our outgoing staff members made them for us, and I have them on my desk. And it's always interesting because they have to be reversed to clearly have it. It's familiar, but it's not familiar. Especially depending on the shape. Some of them are same, right ways forwards, turn them upside down. But it's a little bit off. And even when I display these myself, I always debate, especially those letters that are more tricky, whether or not I should be turning them the right way, which is wrong, or the wrong way, which is right. There's a lot about our society right now that's changing, and it's familiar, but it's different. And we're going to have to take the time to adjust to that. Society's going to have to adjust to us as well. It's going to take us listening to what the experts are telling us how to do that, and the experts are going to have to respond to us as well. Because we have questions right now, and we have fears, and we have to have a dialogue back and forth. That's the only way that we're going to make sense of the world. Even when it's chaotic, sometimes we have to work a little bit harder to put things into perspective. We have to change our own way of thinking sometimes. It's closer to what what I'd recognize easily, but it's still not quite the same. We're not getting through this unchanged. I don't know what the new norm is. Anybody who tells you they do, they're lying. To themselves or to you. Might be both. But we're going to do our best to figure out the answers. Where possible, we're going to try to change the way that we're thinking. We're going to be doing our best to hold those who are responsible to power to make sure that they're doing right by us. And we got to do right by our neighbors too. We're all in this together. Sometimes you got to squint and sometimes you got to, like I said, you got to tweak your brain, but never lose hope. Even when it's harder to see. Even when it's not quite coming into focus like you wish it would. Keep working at it and support the other people who need the same help. Hope's still out there. Don't let go of that. Draw upon that, our rich history. And remember that no matter what happens next, no matter what happened today, even if you had a bad day today, even if you had a couple bad days, that doesn't mean that hope's gone. It's still always out there. This has been Caleb Smith with the Rocket Miner newspaper with your regular coronavirus update. Wishing you a good day and a good night. And more hope.